Okay, so I've got kind of an interesting project. I've got a wobble in my chain ring, as you can see here, so I thought I would show you kind of how I go about diagnosing and fixing this problem. Okay, first of all, you're going to need a way to measure the distance for each chain ring from the seat tube. For this, I've strapped a cheap $6 caliper onto my seat tube, and as you can see, I can identify where the wobbly point is using this caliper. Then I mark that point with a little masking tape so I know where it is. Then use your Allen wrenches to remove the chain rings and rotate them around the spider and reattach them. This way you can now check and see if the wobble is still in the same place. So here are the rotated rings, and as you can see there's still a wobble, and I'm going to put my finger here where the wobble is. And then, as you can see, the wobble is now in a different spot from where my tape is. If the wobble was where the tape is, even after rotating it, then I'd know that it was the chain ring that was bent. But since the wobble stayed in the same place relative to the spider, this part right here, I know the problem's with the spider. So here I've removed the chain rings from the spider, and you can see this little tab where the rings attach to the spider. We're hoping that's where it's bent, because if it's bent on that thick arm, then you're probably just better off getting a new set of cranks. So I've moved the caliper down to the thick part of the cranks, and I'm carefully measuring the distance for each arm. And as you can see, they're all pretty similar, so it's not that thick arm, it's the little tab, which is good. So now I'm going to fix that. So in order to fix that, you just need a crescent wrench that you slide over that tab and you very gently bend it a little bit at a time. And as you bend it every so often, you want to check it against your caliper, which should be set to the distance of the non-bent arms. And by the way, if it was the chain ring that was bent instead of the arm, you would just repeat this exact process, except instead of bending the tab, you would use the crescent wrench to bend the chain ring itself. Now you just remount your chain rings and check to make sure that they don't wobble anymore. As you can see here, they don't. But if you watch closely, you can see the teeth are kind of flat in one spot, and that gives us a good idea of what happened in the first place. In this image, if you look at the teeth right above the word Takagi, you can see that they're scraped, a little bent, and they're flattened across the top. What happened was the original owner bottomed this out, probably with the chain in the middle ring, and it scraped along the pavement or maybe a curb on those rings. And that caused the bend in that crank arm tab right there under the word Takagi. As for the ring, you could probably get away with riding on that some more, but I'm going to go ahead and replace it. I hope you enjoyed this. Maybe I'll do another sometime.